You're in the frame. My name is Julie and thanks for clicking this video. This is the second installment of the Traveling on Africa series on my YouTube channel, which is basically a series where I talk about traveling on Africa. So today I'm going to talk about the Schengen visa, which covers 26 different countries. That's something. Let's talk about it. Who needs it? Pretty much the brown people get stiffed on visas, right? Africa, Asia, South and Central America, pretty much we all need a visa to get into Europe. I am from Kenya, like I said, hold a Kenyan passport and Kenyan citizenship, so I needed one. Another thing is, I'm going to talk about things specific to me and my experience. So I'll tell you the details. If anything is the same for you, that'll be helpful to you. If not, if say you're living in a different country or you have different citizenship, then you're going to have to check that at the embassy of the country that you want to go to. But anyway, I am a student and therefore a temporary resident in South Africa, and so I applied here in South Africa, in Cape Town to be specific. Why do some of us need visas? Well, that's a good fucking question. Possibly right now, things are more strict in Europe because of the terrorism issue, and I'm supposed to put a curb on immigration, pretty much. So, okay, so you've established that you, being a brown citizen of the third world, you need a visa to get into Europe. Where do you get it? You'll get a Schengen visa, but it will be processed and approved by the consulate of one specific country. So the advice that you get from most of these consulates' websites is you should apply it to the consulate of the country where you'll spend most of your time if you're going to more than one country, or if you're kind of spending equal bits of time in different countries, go to the one where you'll arrive first. So for me, the plan was to spend most of my time in France and also to enter from France. So I went to the French consulate, or rather to Capago, the agency in South Africa that deals with the French consulate's non-immigrant visa applications. We've covered the who and why, now the what. What did I get? I got a visitor's visa, otherwise known as a short stay visa. That means you're going to stay in Europe for less than 90 days, less than 90 consecutive days, right? My plan was I was going to spend 30 days in Europe, and I got a visa for 40 days. So that's my intended stay of 30 days plus 10 extra days at the beginning and at the end. I guess, you know, for like missing flights and things that might be out of your control. What will you need? They give you a checklist, pretty much all of the consulates or agencies. I'm gonna just read out the checklist that I got from Capago. Number one, of course, you need your passport. Your passport will need to have 2 empty visa pages, not older than 10 years old, in good condition, and also be valid for 6 months after your date of return, or your intended date of return. So, number one, passport. Number 2 is your application form. I'm pretty sure by now, wherever you're applying from, and even applying to, even if it's not a Schengen visa, there are going to be application forms online that you can complete. Maybe even type them out and not have to print them. In this case, I did complete it online, type in all my information, check that, fill in the application form, check it twice, make sure everything you say is true because they will find out. Number 3, you need 2 color photos. I don't remember the specific dimensions, but pretty much if you go to any photo shop, they're gonna know. Number 4, you need travel insurance. Now this one kind of sucks. I was lucky because what I am already covered by provides free travel insurance, so I didn't need to pay anything extra. So if you have insurance already, check if your plan includes international travel and where to, and just get a confirmation letter from them. So what's specified in this checklist from Capago is it needs to be a minimum of 30,000 euro cover, and the words Schengen must be on, so that means you're covered in the Schengen states, and also repatriation, maybe even of your remains, but it could be if you get critically ill or seriously injured, they cover your costs of you being transported back home so you can get treatment, or buried if shit gets really real. So remember, 30,000 euro, repatriation, and Schengen states must all appear on this letter that you get from your medical care provider. Number 5 is proof of accommodation. This one was kind of annoying and I found kind of silly because as you may or may not know from following my social media, most of the time I was couch surfing, and like I used the couchsurfing.com to find hosts in the cities I was staying at. Otherwise, I would stay in hostels, but it wasn't the whole time. What they want to see is pretty much a breakdown of where you're going to stay every single day that you're there. That was not realistic because, like I said before in a previous video, my plans completely changed and I didn't end up going to France in the beginning anyway. So what I did was I got bookings for mostly hostels, just, you know, being realistic budget-wise. I got bookings, a lot of booking sites you don't need to pay as long as you cancel, like maybe 2 weeks in advance or 3 weeks in advance. So I just did that. I basically put it down from this date to this date, I go here, and printed out those booking pages. Everything must have your name on it and must have an address. If you're lucky enough to have a good friend or maybe family who lives somewhere in Europe, they may write you an invitation letter, basically saying that they're going to host you at their house, and so they must give their address, I think probably a copy of their ID or residence permit if they're not from there, or passport, and if they own the property, a title deed apparently, I don't know, maybe, and this needs to be stamped by the city hall of their city, and then they send that in to you, and that's part of your application as your proof of accommodation. Number 6, proof of transport. This is number 1, travel in and out of Europe. So pretty much for me it was a return ticket to and from South Africa, and then travel between countries. So there are many different things you can do. What I did is I pretty much only flew, no, I took 1 bus and 2 flights in between cities, well, in between countries really. So, of course, you should absolutely not buy any plane tickets until you have the visa in your passport. I said this in the US visa video as well. So what you can do is you can get flight reservations. You can get this at most travel agents. Most likely they do charge a fee. What I did was I found a site called dreamerotrip.com, which is generally about traveling and also about Schengen visa tips and tricks. So what you can do is email a certain email address given on the website and give your, you know, basically your itinerary, your dates and everything. They'll make sure your name is on it, and for a fee of $15 they'll give you an itinerary with as many flights in and out of anywhere as you like. You pay this just for the reservation, but it's not an actual booking, so you don't have to worry about like being charged before if you're not actually going to take those flights. So that's what I did. You can go to a travel agent also. I think there are ways of doing it for free. Maybe you can, you know, get on the airline website itself or contact the airline and just like cancel the booking right after you have the confirmation page or something like that. But I'm not sure. But what I did is use dreamerotrip.com. Very helpful. Number 7, very easy, proof of payment of the visa application fee. Now, in this case, the application fee was €60. And then there are little extras. If you would rather they take your photos so that they do it exactly how they want it, you can do that. I did not. If you would like them to courier your passport instead of picking it up, I had to because this agency was in Cape Town and I live in Port Elizabeth, so that was an extra 250 Rand is like, not that much. It's maybe like €20. Number 8, where shit gets sticky, bruh. Sit down, let me tell you about proof of funds. Basically that means proof of your available funds for the duration of your trip to Europe. This is the first trip that I fully planned out for myself, went solo to like a pretty fair distance from my homes, and paid for almost completely by myself, from work that I did, from money that I saved, from it was me figuring it out for myself, right? Having said that, this application went in or was happening 2.5 months before my intended dates of traveling, and I hadn't made all the money yet because I was still working. Even while I was in Europe, I was still doing a little work, still earning some money, right? So I said to myself, okay, let me get my mom to write a letter of sponsorship just to say she'll cover the cost of my travel and send over her bank statements, which is acceptable if you're a university student, which I am. So she sends over her statements, and this is in Kenya because my parents live in Kenya. There's a Kenyan bank, the currency is Kenya shillings, that shows up on the statements. She sends this along with a letter of sponsorship or like a financial guarantee or something like that, basically saying she's paying all the expenses of my trip and I'm going to supplement a little bit. We've put aside a budget of €30 per day, so the bank statement showed roughly that amount for the time that I would be spending there, because I read that on some blog, I can't remember. I was reading a lot of blogs trying to see what other people did and said. So we said 30 euro per day. So this is what I went to my appointment with. This is your mom. You don't have her ID copy. Okay, I think it will be fine if they ask for anything else. We will call you. Yeah, that's fair enough. She's being nice. Cool. Hello. Bonjour. May I speak to Julie? Yes, this is Julie. Hi, Julie. I'm calling from the French consulate in Cape Town. We have your application here for this bank statement. We need you to send us one in the value of rands. You have sent this your mom's statement. Oh yes, my mother's statement. But it is in this currency of Kenya and we don't know the exchange rate. We need you to send one that is either in rand or in euro. You live here in South Africa? Do you have a local account? Yeah, I do, but I don't really use it that much. Yes, the money needs to be shown in that account or in a European account. Right, because we don't know the exchange rate with the Kenya shilling. What I really want to say at this point is, you don't know that. Do you know who does know the value? Google. Do you guys not have Google at the French consulate? Because that's very serious. I can help you with that. Now, I did not say this because these guys still had possession of my passport. And I still wanted to get this visa. You have to choose your battles, you know? So I just did what they told me. But in the end, I had my mom just send the money over so I could have it in my account for like a day. Get the bank statements out that showed my name on the bank statement in rand value. Sent it back to her. A whole other task, a whole other story, right? And in the end it worked out fine. And finally, number 9 on the checklist, proof of employment. Usually for the majority of people this will be a letter from your employer, a manager where you work, blah blah blah, basically stating your name and that you're currently employed in that company or that organization or whatever. Now, I'm a student, like I've said, and so what I got is proof of registration from my university, including a letter from the architectural department, stamped and signed saying that I am a student currently and that I must return to finish the school year, and a letter from the Office of International Education because I'm an international student, stating that I am a current student, registered for the year. They still were on my ass, saying, also, Julie, we need you to please email us proof that you paid all the university fees for the whole year. Yes, please send us the proof of payment with the university letterhead. Yes. Merci. Au revoir. Now this specifically, I don't really know if it's because I was an international student or not. It's the law in South Africa that international students must pay their fees for the year for them to be allowed to register at the beginning of every year. Maybe that had something to do with it, maybe not. But yeah, this is my experience. So, after all this is done, you know what you kind of need to do. When do you get it all together and take it to the consulate or agency? Now, they don't actually take applications more than 3 months before your intended dates of departure. I remember sitting down at the website, I was home for December holidays, and I had decided, I was like, I'm gonna do this fucking thing. I'm gonna save and I'm gonna go to France in June. It's gonna happen. So I went on the website, I was like, let me even start this application to show the universe how serious I am. And they were like, no, you can only do it 3 months or less. But of course, you know, leave a good amount of time. That does suck a little bit because I remember seeing lots of flight deals in December for traveling in June, you know. If you buy stuff way in advance like that, your flights are going to be cheaper than if you do it 10 days before like some of us. Take note, you should start getting your stuff together even earlier than that because some stuff takes longer than you thought and you might need to change things here and there like I was telling you. For my medical cover, I had to get 2 different letters because the first one just said all Schengen states, covered in all Schengen states instead of the specific countries plus all other Schengen states. That didn't take long, it was maybe like an extra day or 2 waiting for an email, but it depends, it might take longer for you. Another thing is getting the funds into my account and getting those bank statements out and stuff like that. That was maybe like a 3 or 4 day process for my mom to do a wire transfer into my account. So, you know, getting your stuff together might take longer than you think. And I ended up applying just over 2 months before traveling instead of 3 like I would have liked, because of course I would have liked to do it at the earliest opportunity, make sure I got it done and make sure I bought my tickets early. So keep that in mind. So the difference between these guys and my experience with the US consulate is they do not tell you whether you've been approved or not at any state, not when you leave the agency, not by email, You have to just pick up your passport and find out by your own damn self. So I went to my local post office, picked up the envelope with my passport in it, and I just sat down with some wine at the bar next door, and I stalled. The passport was just staring at me on the table, and then finally it was time. No way, no. It's actually kind of sad how excited I was. But it was like, to be honest, because it was so quick, 2 weeks was super quick for me. In my experience of getting and waiting for visas in the recent past, South Africa. So 2 weeks was like, okay, they definitely said no. That was way too quick, damn it. So I got this thing and I got the visa with 10 extra days. This is a 40-day visa that I'm getting excited about, by the way. Yeah. So that was super cool. I could check something off the list. That's one of the major ones, really. One of the major obstacles, which really is an obstacle. Super annoying, like really unnecessary, over-the-top process. You know, I would say it's understandable trying to keep their citizens safe. Yeah, but like Americans and Australians have free reign over where they go and just go and chill there and work in hostels. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it doesn't detract anybody from like wanting to go to Europe. It's super fun, there's plenty to see, plenty of cool people to meet. So, you know, if you want to go to Europe, you fucking go to Europe. This is not a cautionary tale. Just letting you know, there's a whole bunch of things you need to prepare beforehand and get it in early. Okay, thanks for hanging out and stay golden.